Yo, 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 what's up, man? Up to another episode of the May podcast, man. Finally, we're taking a transition period. We're into a new transformation. We got a new intro song, as you can hear. Hold on, let me boy ride real quick.
No friends, just family and my brother still. I gotta wanna die for you to get that stamp of seal. You hear me? Look, now this ain't like back before. The only thing that stayed the same, I'm not one that you can hold.
Yeah, but anyways, we're back. We're gonna take this episode as a time to kind of talk about where we've been, what's happened, um, and just sort of what our plans are going into the future. So, Malcolm, you can go ahead and start, man. What you been up to lately?
Oh man. Well, first and foremost, it was my girlfriend's birthday a few days ago on the 26th. So we literally just landed back in or Chicago or whatever, like a couple hours ago or whatever. Just made it home no more than like 40 minutes ago. So uh pretty fun trip. We went to Vegas or whatever. That was the first time in Vegas. She didn't win no money because she didn't know how to work the machines. Cause it was because like anybody, because I haven't gambled, but I understand the concept. So like if you ever go to a casino, right, they do it by credits or
Right,
whatever, like, or
right.
they do it by like, you know what I'm saying, like credit vouchers or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? So she's playing like small bets or whatever, and I'm telling her, I'm like, you can play the small bets, it's safe, but you're not gonna hit nothing big. And if you do hit something big, usually you'll hit something that is meant to be taken on to like a higher bet that you can place or whatever, as opposed to like cashing out because you gonna end up just cashing out $10. You know what I'm saying? So it was,
Yeah.
I think it was just I think it was just a learning experience for her. I mean, granted, she's not the gambler, nor is she, you know what I'm saying, the most enthusiastic about losing. You know what I'm saying? So she game discouraged quickly, but I think just overall fun. So that was good. I also think that this year's already started off pretty well for me in terms of like the job has been going well. I have another panel that I'm going to in February, the same one I did last year for the top 20 battlers in the world panel, whatever. So that's gonna be dope. I go back to Philly in a week and a half or so. So that's gonna be good. And yeah, actually this is like the first time in a while that I've really been able to like really kick in and watch playoff games because there's always been stuff that's came up, but this is the first time in a while I was able to catch every game. Even in Vegas, like I caught Cincinnati and Kansas City like right before we went out to dinner or
Mm-hmm.
whatever yesterday. So man, those were crazy games. We will get to that later, but no, everything's good. Was able to interview battlers at the top of the year. I interviewed a battler named DNA and another battler named Danger Zone. So I have like more interviews in queue or whatever. Have a bunch of episodes still in like the backlog that I'm about to release on my channel. Have up to 300 subscribers, 371 subscribers or whatever, which is a huge jump from the 105 that I had the first 4 months that I started my channel. And I have like 7 or 8 videos that are over 1,000 views. So, it's building steadily, and that's all I can hope for. But I mean, yeah, that's been pretty much it. Really, just expanding the brand. You know, what I'm saying actually funded an award for one of the battlers just recently, and I'm doing another award give out again for this thing I'm doing called like, you know how like in the NFL you have your comeback player or whatever, in terms of like people that like had an injury, maybe had like a down slope, um you know what I'm saying, and like the previous season, whatever, then they come back and have like a either a serviceable or really good season. I'm doing something similar in that vein, maybe not necessarily like comeback season, but I'm doing something where it's like uh the biggest upset of
Mm-hmm.
the year. So it's like pretty much commemorating like people that like beat the odds, whatever. Because like battle rap is kind of can be a very aggressive slash you know what I'm saying, negative place when it comes to like predictions, stuff like that. Very blunt. You know what I'm saying, very competitive, whatever. And we've actually had a collection of battlers that are like really, really beating the odds and beat some of the best battlers in the world just because they came prepared, they deliver like a lifetime performance. So I just wanted to, contribute an award for those individuals as well. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Just the same old. Really, I'm hitting the gym again. I got my membership back for the Anytime Fitness or whatever. So I'm getting my regimen back. About to start working on a meal plan or whatever. That way, I'm not eating junk food all the time, or as much as I should say. But yeah, everything's headed towards the right direction for me. And I also had time to watch You People, that Netflix what I'm
You
saying,
people.
movie. And it was, well, we can talk about that later, but it was cool to watch like a Netflix movie that was actually like solid, like a solid Netflix movie. There's a couple movies that are money grabs or just have like a barrage of like people in it, and it's just like you could tell that it's just they had the budget and they wanted to create a movie. But this movie was actually pretty solid, so it was dope to see like a cool movie because I haven't been to the movies in a while. I'm still waiting
Mm-hmm.
for like because we have Creed coming out and then you have the Ant-Man movie coming out or whatever. So in between there's been a drought because I haven't really been going to the movies like that. But yeah, so that was another thing I did over the weekend. So
Type shit. I just want to clap it up for my man and his videos, man. Hold on. Give him that
thank you,
applause.
appreciate that.
Yeah, if you're into battle rap, please go check him out. I'll probably link his YouTube channel in the description for both this video on YouTube and then when we post on Apple Podcast. Um shit. What have I been up to? I'm pretty sure the last time we recorded was still football season, so we ended football season. Um Really disappointing football season,
Mm.
just based off the fact that one we didn't really win too much. I think we won one. Yeah, not think. I know we won one game. And it was a really frustrating time for me because I felt like as a young coach, one, my feedback wasn't being taken in, even though all the older coaches were like, yeah, if you just send us like your scouting report, the plays you want to run, or coverages you want to run, we'll take a look at it and we'll try to
Mm.
implement it to the game plan. They would say that, and then all of a sudden, I would send it to them, and I wouldn't even get read. Like they would, I don't even think they would look at it.
Right.
Excuse me. So that was irritating, and with that on top of them trying to control the technique and how I coach my position. Now, one, I'm pretty sure they're leaving the school. They're going back to their old school, which is Marion. So they're going back to 4A, and they're going to Marion,
Mm.
Indiana. But I won't be following them. So this summer, I don't plan on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I won't be coaching high school football for a little while, which I'm okay with. I'm still at Arsenal Tech coaching track, and that's been a good experience for me just because I've been able to really do just kind of be in my own lane and do what I find is necessary for these kids to help them succeed. And I find that these track coaches understand my knowledge and my vision, and they just kind of let me go and let me do what they feel like I need to do and want to do. So I'm
Mm.
definitely more appreciative of that because I feel like my feedback and my point of view and my voice matters a lot more to the track coaches than it does to the football coaches. So that's
Mm.
one thing I'm looking forward to. I won't start coaching again till around March, like that first week of March. And I'm working with Coach Morgan and our coaching staff to plan the trip up to Wabash because Coach Johnson gave me his business card. Let me see it because I know it's on my desk. Yeah, the Mr. Coach Johnson's business card, man. Yes, sir. Let me not put that man information out there
Classic.
for that long. But he gave my mom his business card. I want to say like homecoming weekend for Wabash because they went to that football
Mm.
game,
Mm.
and well, maybe not homecoming, but it was a football game. I forget which one, but they
Either
went.
homecoming or senior night, maybe.
I don't
Maybe
think
a
it was
senior
senior
night.
night because they got invited because my dad was very vital in because now Wabash offers internships. I mean, for Stockyards Bank, so they have a partnership
Mm.
with where my dad works. My dad was kind of
Right.
influential in bridging and making that connection because that's where he works and he's a private banker there. So they invited him as a sort of like, thank you for helping us get a new internship program for our students. And that's where they saw Coach Johnson. He gave him their business card, and he told my mom that I should try to get together with them and have the kids go up there so we can have like a little day joint practice kind of camp technique day where we all get together. We teach them technique and kind of just show them around the Wabash track facilities and everything. So I've been working with Coach Morgan and our coaching staff to try to set that up, looking at somewhere between March and April on a Wednesday or Friday. So I have to get with our track coaches now. I asked them for a schedule and just really work on trying to make sure that we have the transportation. IPS isn't always good for this stuff, but just trying to really make sure we got the transportation and the funds and the availability to really make that trip, because I feel like it'd be a good trip for them. So I feel like that'd be dope. There's that. What else? A big reason why we haven't been recording this podcast is I've been working on another podcast.
Which is doing pretty well, by the way. So clap it up for yourself. Press the button. Go ahead, press the button. Press the button. Press the button.
You funny. It's funny because we not even okay. I'll get into it. It's a long story, but
now you told me about. I was I just wanted you to press the button.
Yeah, I know it's okay. But that's been a new experience. So he's a former street guy. He's the owner of his own gym. His name is Mike Ford. I got to shout him out. But it's been interesting. The name of his podcast is Heart of the Streets, and basically he tries to take people who he feels like are influential to street culture, either that's Indianapolis street culture or we've interviewed people like Murphy Lee, for example. And then I forget his last name, but his first name was Doug, and he's like a major realtor in Atlanta, and he sells like rappers these mansions and all this other stuff. So those are two kind of people we've talked about, but that's been an experience. I think
the interviewing aspect, or just the people that you were interacting with.
I think on a whole, because for me, it's weird. So how on this podcast I talk, I don't appear on camera on that podcast. I'm just there strictly to help him with his audio, make sure all that's going well. I use my equipment for the moment, but it's been an experience just because he's not really the most organized. He's not the most just easy to work with, and he understands that. But a lot of the times I find that just he's the one that has to okay everything. Like, he made himself that way. Just because, this podcast has his name and his logos attached to it. So it's really his. So we understand, me and the dude who I worked with, who doesn't work on the show anymore, but he was the cameraman. We would pitch ideas to him, and then we would also there'd be times where he's talking about promotional videos and he's trying to describe what he wants, but he's just saying he wants a promotional video. And then me and the other guy would be like, so do you want us to shoot in front of your gym? Like, what kind of content do you want in it? And he would just say, no, no, just and then describe what a promotional video is to us again. And we're just, it's just a lot of head scratching and just a lot of disorganization. I don't want to get too much into it, but he's interviewed a lot of people, but we haven't posted one episode yet because he's uploading his stuff to a network that's attached to it's not attached to Roku channel, but that's where it's gonna be uploaded at. It's gonna be a channel on Roku TV. And that lady, we haven't really had much contact with her until like later in the shooting, so we had no idea. So she has all these requirements that we haven't been able to meet. So now we were sitting on like 7 or 8 episodes that we can't upload because they're not up to her status and they're not what she wants to upload. So that's where that is. That's been taking a lot of my time in terms of podcasting, because a lot of the times where me and Malcolm could have recorded, I'm there recording with him. But my involvement's starting to come to an end real soon, so that'll be good. I'll have more time for this. I've been working on a documentary that has to deal with our parents and just us, and how the relationship that our parents have affects the kind of relationships that we form and we have in terms of romantic relationships. So I think that's good. I've done 3 interviews but one of them I messed up. I messed the audio up. It happens. The Rodecaster stuff. I have some Rodecaster wireless mics, and with Rodecaster stuff, a lot of times, especially with those wireless mics, if you're not using a very specific cord that it came with that they gave you, it's not gonna work. So I had the right cord that I needed. It was a USB-C to USB-C. Had the right cord I needed, but because it wasn't the one that shipped with it, and I have it, so I was able to use it for the other interviews, and it worked well. But because I didn't use it that one time, the audio that was coming to, the people who were talking in the mics, the audio was not going and connecting to the camera, so I don't have that audio. But I think that's been good. Just coming up with questions and having these conversations with people has been a very interesting experience, and I don't think people understand just how much of an impact watching your parents' relationship, whether they're married or living together or they're separated, has an impact on the type of people that you date. So that's been interesting. And then one more thing. Well, I have two other things. I've been doing a lot. I've been doing a lot. I just recently started working on another kind of solo documentary where I'm gonna read you the quote. Let me pull this up. So you remember our Malcolm Martin and Mandela class, right? And you remember how we had to watch that James Baldwin documentary at the beginning?
I am not your Negro. Yeah.
Yes. And like we had to come up with like 3 or 4 quotes and kind of talk about what we thought those quotes meant.
Yeah.
So one of my quotes, and I read it all the time. I've been thinking about it a lot. Basically, this is the quote from James Baldwin. Heroes were white because of the land I live in. I despise these heroes because they thought vengeance was theirs to take. And yet I understood that my countrymen were my enemy. And then my kind of narration of the quote is, in his lifetime, Mr. Baldwin must have seen many injustices to black people, from lynchings to police beatings. This quote says to me that in America, heroes are white only. And since a hero's duty is to be an instrument of vengeance, vengeance can only be done justly by a white person. Essentially, it is a white person's duty and right to take vengeance. Could this mentality be part of the reason why white people were able to lynch black people and not only get away with it, but feel some type of righteousness and vindication through it? So I've been taking that, and I want to kind of relate that to. So I'm looking at I'm making
like
a documentary that does about it.
Of like a broader commentary aspect.
Maybe
like,
not a so it's still kind of a new idea. I'm still working out the kinks, but
okay.
But I have like the very beginning of my script written out. First I want to break down a couple of the movies of that time. So somebody I'm really looking at, it's kind of like two people I'm potentially looking at, but one person's movie who's really influential at this time that I feel like James Baldwin's alive is in this kind of spaghetti western era, because those movies are really kicking up around like the 30s when James Baldwin's kind of alive. Is John Wayne, just because I know he's a very big movie star and he often plays the big hero in the westerns. Yeah. And just kind of talking about some of the movies he's been in and how they have to revolve around him being the hero, this white hero bringing kind of lawfulness and exacting revenge and bringing like justice to this lawless land and to these people, rather they're natives or not, who have kept the land kind of lawless. So I'm looking at that aspect, and then I also want to look at kind of 3 events through history that happened, kind of one in his when he was maybe a child, one maybe when he was adult, and then I want to look at one that's closer to our time. And I think, I'm not sure, but I know I've been looking. I think I want to do Emmett Till, because the whole point is I want to look at it from a perspective of the white people who committed the crime, and kind of trying to paint it out that, the reason why they did this is because they thought they were taking some type of vengeance, or, it was their job to be this hero, and they did this violent act because they thought it was their responsibility to be this hero, and they had that right to commit this violent act in some type of heroic vengeance type taking way. So I've been looking at Emmett Till. I've also been looking at, I think Ahmaud Marbury is somebody who I'm gonna do for the future. I said for the future, for this present time, because I think that's another example of a good case, just because the people who killed him were trying to make a citizen's arrest, and not saying that that's illegal, but again, it's
Mm.
people, two white people thinking that they're being
Trying to
heroes and
take
trying to
justice
save
into their
them.
own hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Mm.
it's one more, if I can find it, because I was looking it up and reading it. So Thomas Ship and Abraham Smith, which is that happens in that happens August 7th in 1930. And
Mm.
basically what that is it was these two black people, these two black kids. They were both 19 years old, and it happened in Marion, Indiana. So I might make a visit there and take a camera and kind of talk and like why talk about what I'm supposed to talk about for that segment. Record kind of where it happened, because it's a picture, and in the picture, it's a very famous picture. I'm pretty sure people have seen it. It's you got these two black 19-year-olds hanging because they were thought to have assaulted this white lady, which, of course, just like in the case of Emmett Till, she later comes back and reveals that it never happened. But you got these two black kids hanging, 19-year-olds hanging, and it's a mob of white people around them. And then you have these two I said black, these two white people look at the camera, and one of them is looking at the camera. He's pointing at them, at the two people hanging, kind of like saying, this is what happens when you do wrong. It's kind of our job to take that vengeance for deflowering our women and things like that. So that's where that kind of came from. It was a combination of that quote and then that picture,
Amazing.
and just really being able to say, you know what, I want to try to paint that. And I understand, we could paint it through the lens of those black teens being scared, but I really want to get into looking at it as, these white people were doing this because they felt like they were heroes at this moment. They were trying to be heroic, and so vengeance was theirs to be done justly. So I think that's interesting. And then the last thing I've been doing, so my she's not really my aunt. She's a family friend, but I call her my auntie because I've known her since I was two. And she's pretty much played that role in my life. She works for a nonprofit called Child Advocates here in Indianapolis, and they're one of many things they do. She used to be a CASA, so basically, you got children going through foster care, and she sort of is the voice of the children. So when you have like parental disputes, or let's say your child, you're like 5 years old and both of your parents die, and in the will it's well, maybe not in the will, but they said that they want their kids to go live with their grandma. It's kind of the CASA's responsibility to speak up for the kids and say, "Hey, I understand it might not be in the will, but this is where they're supposed to go." So they have the responsibility of kind of looking out for the kids first and having their interest first. Um, but in that, they also have interrupting racism for children, which is kind of this facilitation series that they do. And I went through it, and then I also was able to observe them going through it with IMPD recruits. Excuse me. So that was interesting, and that's something else I'm gonna be getting involved with. I have to fill out the application actually tomorrow. But I'm gonna be facilitating that, and then also just with the firefighter, updates. Obviously, I well, not obviously, but I didn't make it through with Pike or IFD. I got caught at literally the very last steps. I got a conditional offer from both, and then they have you do this physical psychological evaluation, and I failed it for both of them. So it's just, it is what it is. I'm gonna try with Carmel, but I have all these other things going on too that should keep you busy, so I'm not too down. But that's kind of my 2023 got started out with me finding out I'd failed it with IFD, and that was kind of a bad day. But that's what I've been up to. um Shit, what else? I don't think I got anything else in terms of my updates and what's been going on. I guess the next thing we can talk about is kind of where we want to go in our scheduling. So Malcolm can go ahead and touch on the scheduling that we're going to try to hold ourselves to.
Yeah, man. I genuinely, because I think I live with the notion of you build a habit within 30 days and 30 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for us, if we are able to contribute at least two episodes per month, 2 to 3 per month, three every 10 days, I feel like that would be ideal, or even two or whatever, which I feel like is doable. And I feel like with the content subject matter that we have, this is pretty dense. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like an episode every couple of weeks will hold people over. I don't think it needs to be a daily type thing or a weekly type thing. I think every 2 weeks is kind of, because that's kind of the direction I take with my channel, right? Because I don't like force feeding the people that watch my stuff or whatever. Like I have a pattern, I have a routine, I have certain things that I do, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like that's like kind of methodical or whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, I try to leave them with something that they can like kind of hold on to and hold and have and have them pretty much hold it until the next episode. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Something that they can kind of like just, you know what I'm saying, savor up until the next one, because I feel like that's kind of the best. That's kind of the best work you're gonna get. I mean, granted, now it's like, to me, I still feel like less is more. You know what I'm saying? But I know now it's like, in order to really, really be a part of the algorithm and really, really be a part of like the pulse of media and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just um having a maximum amount of occurrences in terms of appearances and stuff like that matters, and stuff like that, and having your name everywhere matters. But I think in terms of like the quality aspect, I enjoy when we re-adjourn a week, 2 weeks later, and just talk about everything that's been transpiring. Just because it doesn't come off as like inorganic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how what I'm looking for, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of stuff that we were supposed to talk about last year, didn't get a chance to do it just because like the hiatus would go from a couple weeks to a couple months, and then all of a sudden it's on to the next thing. But for us, I feel like every 2 weeks there's going to be something that we can like touch bases on or whatever. There's going to be a new developments transpiring for us to talk, talk about.
I'm sorry. Both of my parents just keep trying to interrupt me today. I don't know what it is. But yeah, so me and Malcolm are going to try to hold ourselves to a bi weekly. We could try weekly because I don't, that's the most I want to upload is once a week, most frequent. I remember when we first started, we were uploading like 3 episodes a week. Man, we were flying. But I think part of that was we were on Wabash campus, and not saying we didn't have a lot to do at Wabash because it's still college, but we were in the same house. It wasn't that far to go to where we were recording it at the Toot. And since we were always together, we kind of knew each other's schedules, and it would always be a period of downtime on like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays as well. So we would always try to record on those days just because those were the easiest days for us. Kind of one Sundays, I understand you trying to do work, but Saturdays we would have track meet. So Sundays would be like our only day where we didn't fully have anything going on. Mondays and Wednesdays are kind of the light days for track practice. So we would get off of track practice, kind of with enough time to where we could do our homework and then go record and be fine, and still have that kind of downtime and that leisure time to do what we want. But yeah, weekly would be the most I would want to upload new episodes. And if we're doing bi-weekly, I think on Apple Music, I said music on Apple Podcasts, I'm start going back and kind of re-releasing some of our older episodes because I have all of them. I gotta find the tip again, but I have all of everything we've recorded, and it's funny because it's at least 6-7 episodes that Malcolm and I have recorded that have never been posted that are on that chip. So I might go back and listen to some of those and maybe post some of those too. But that's kind of where we are right now in the scheduling, and then in terms of content, I can give you a kind of a rough schedule for the next 3 weeks, I think, or 3 episodes. Let me not say 3 weeks, 3 episodes. Um, Next episode we want to talk about what happened in Memphis with what's his name? Tyrese? I hate when I do this. Because I was literally this Tyree Nichols. There it goes. We're gonna talk about that case just because we feel like as young black men, it's kind of our responsibility to always talk about these things and kind of have this conversation and just talk about current events and be world citizens. So that's gonna be our next episode. Um, After that, I'll have to talk with Gianni a little bit more, but I'm trying to bring Gianni on, and I want to start doing something where we start having like black owned businesses, like whether it's our friends or maybe like musicians, kind of have maybe like once a month, once every 2 months, kind of have an episode where we're kind of just having a conversation with these people and getting into what they're doing. So I know Gianni is releasing a collection for his clothing brand soon. So I wanted to get with him so he could kind of, one, we can talk about how he came up with his business, what kind of inspired him, the process of going through and creating and having your own business. And then also just talk about the new clothing line that he'll be releasing and, putting down a promo code so that people who watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, can kind of get maybe 10, 15% off of any order they have from him. So that's the second episode. And then the third one we'll probably just talk about, and it'll be a little late, but we'll probably end up talking about the Super Bowl and just the NFL season, and reflect on it, kind of the highs, the lows, what shocked us, what shocked us, what we thought was gonna happen. Maybe look at some of our preseason predictions, kind of talk about where those went, what went wrong, and just reflect on the NFL season. So I think that's a solid 3 episode plan. Um, we'll get together again, have conversations, probably work on the next 3 after we complete those 3 episodes that we have coming up. But that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. And then, of course, new season means new logos. So we're gonna have a new picture of us up as kind of our base. And then also I'm gonna try. Can't guarantee it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try my hand at graphic design and see if I can design an actual logo for us. Uh,
Yeah.
but we got some things coming up, and this episode might not get released for another. When you guys hear this episode might be two. Would have been recorded 2 weeks prior. I want to work on better promotion, so I think I'm gonna create our own Instagram page, our own Twitter page, and really try to nail down that promotional aspect so that we can kind of grow our podcast and our channels and really kind of cultivate that. Oh, god damn it. See, I knew I was gonna forget something. I forgot. So now I'm trying to hold myself to a schedule of on Twitch. I'm trying to stream on Twitch every day from 8 o'clock at night to 11 o'clock at night. So I'm trying to hold myself to that. I streamed for an hour today just because I had that hour time gap between between me recording a podcast episode with the other podcast, The Heart of the Streets today, and this one. So I had an hour gap, so I streamed for an hour. But also I started a gaming YouTube channel. And I'm gonna have to start promoting that. And I've had it for, this is week 3 now. I'm trying to post a video on there once a week. I've posted 2, and I'm gonna post my 3rd video tomorrow. So that's other things I got going on. But really, just trying to work on promoting, really, and just getting our stuff out there so we can have more listeners. Not saying me and Malcolm do this for money, but at the same time, it'd be nice to kind of get a little payment off of this, make it a little side hustle. But really, we just want as many people. We just want to reach as many people as we can and just hear as many people, kind of give us feedback and tell us, like, we enjoy hearing feedback on the show and enjoy having people tell us that they enjoy listening to us. So it's kind of where we at.
Yeah. No, I super excited. Really. I have made the last year. I made the full transition to being a content creator. You know what I'm saying? Not really in the podcast sense or whatever, because I'm trying to get better in that aspect. You know what I'm saying, in terms of presentation, all that. But in terms of just having a direction, you know what I'm saying, which is a lot of the reasons why there's a lot of podcasts or shows that come and go because there's no real direction. It's like all improv or all like out of thin air type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that both of our ventures in terms of like you going and doing your streaming stuff, then me doing my battle rap stuff, is like we can come together and cultivate that audience and you know what I'm saying, the production that we're looking forward to have. So yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, 2023 seems to be a really good year, really prosperous year in many different ways. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and there's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more stuff for us to touch bases on, just because there's a lot that we didn't talk about last
Man.
year. So super excited. And I'm very excited for AY to bring back his streaming, just so I can see those the airplanes poop out the sky again.
Oh my god. This man.
Nah, that's an inside joke. That's an
This
inside
man.
joke. You would have to understand for me to, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, nah. Um, no, I am super proud of AY. He's done a lot since graduation in terms of just his community work, giving back to his community, alongside just like chasing what he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? Doing what he wants to do with his life. It's very easy to get sidetracked and like finding a gig just for money and stuff like that. Then you start living a life of monotony or whatever. I want to emulate what AY is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to emulate that lifestyle because that's something that I myself am trying to do in terms of like, just really focus, recenter my energy towards stuff I'm actually interested in. I'm almost done with my master's program. I'll be done in July.
Hold
So
on, hold on,
6
hold on,
months from
hold on.
now.
Before you continue, yeah.
I'll be done with my master's program in July. So that'll be stamped and sealed, and then from there, it'll just be it'll be a lot of negotiations. Not to say it like that, not like I'm a free agent or anything like that, but like, it'll be a lot of negotiations, a lot of like, you know what I'm saying, uh, you know, surveying the market or whatever in terms of what I want to do, and just picking and choosing my spots in terms of when I'm going to make that transition into education. The thing about me making that transition is one, it'll allot me more time to do more of the content creation work. You know what I'm saying? I have my weekends back
Man,
and stuff like that. But the only difference is like I'll have to change my schedule up tremendously because I've been so used to having the top of the week off as opposed to the back end of the week off. So a lot of how I schedule certain stuff and certain things will have to change drastically in order for me to make it work. But I do get a lot more free time than I'm given as of right now. So um but yeah, super excited. Super excited.
essentially,
Wait, one more thing. Cole's birthday just passed. You know what I'm saying? The man is 38 years old. You know what I'm saying? Time out, time out. Before we go any further, it is crazy to think that he's 38 years old. And then, like, I want to say Kendrick is like 35, 36. That's kind of crazy, but we're getting old. I'm about to be 24. That's kind of crazy.
man, I'm already 24. I was on the phone with my friend talking about it. I'm like, I feel like I was just 20 because she's 20. Like, I feel like I was just 20 not that long ago. Now I'm like, I'm 24. I'm like, God damn, I'm old as shit. 24 is old, and now I understand in the grand scheme of things. Hopefully, I have a lot more life to go, and at 24 is still relatively young in the world. But to me and like my peers and everything, like I'm old. Like I'm 24 years old. That's
Yeah, we're living in
lot
a
of years.
simulation. I said we're living in a simulation. You know what I'm saying? We're
Not
we're
this
part of the
Matrix talk.
Matrix. Matrix part 4.4.2.
Update
We had
4.2.
instead of like there being a plug in the back of our neck, it's just a phone attached, and then we have to detach the phone from the back of our head and then swipe up to get our brains back.
But yeah,
Yeah,
essentially, our goal this year is for y'all to be tired of us. Honestly, y'all gonna see our face everywhere, all over the internet. Our goal is for y'all niggas to be tired of us, cause we gonna be everywhere. We want to be everywhere. We want you to see us in your subscription box from the May podcast to Sir Charles 317. That's my gaming YouTube channel. So the other YouTube channel I'm gonna have with my documentaries, that'll be just my name. To Malcolm's channel, the battle
M Lang
raps.
4132
Yes, sir.
4132.
You see it at the bottom of the screen right by his name. That's his YouTube channel name too. Um, but that's really what we've been up to. That's kind of where we hope we're going. We hope y'all niggas get tired of us. Not really, we love y'all. We wouldn't be here without y'all.
Yeah.
But that's kind of we decided, we want to give y'all an update, kind of tell y'all where we've been, what we've been up to, why there's been a supreme lack of content. And this funny because this the second time we've done this. The second
Yeah,
time we've
no.
taken this major break.
Yeah, no, it's like I moved, so there was that. Then you went into a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, yeah, it was a collection, and I think just 2022 was just such a weird year. Like last year was just so up and down in terms of like just all that was happening and transpiring. It was hard to get a rhythm for real. So,
I also
but
think part of it is just we had just graduated, so we went from having for 4 years kind of having this set schedule to now we're trying to get our lives together. We're trying to do pursue our careers. So now we didn't have a set schedule, but we're 2 years removed from graduating, which is crazy. Well, we're almost 2 years removed. We're getting there. We'll be 2 years in May. So we're kind of starting to get settled into a set schedule to where we can really start meeting up again and recording. But where's the music at? 40 minutes. That's one of the shorter episodes because on God, Malcolm knows we can talk forever. We'd be here for an hour.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And I have a lot to do tomorrow, and you know what I'm saying, you said you already recorded your episode for the game, right?
Oh yeah. So basically, what happens is, and it's funny because I'm glad I do this. I record. Like I will save. I need to get an Elgato, but that's like $200. That's an investment that's coming soon. But basically, what happens is, and I've stocked up on gameplay, so I'll play, and if I have a good game, I'll save that video clip. So usually, my videos are around for the moment like between 10 to like 15 minutes at the longest for right now. It is basically just one. It'll be like one Call of Duty game or another game we're playing is Overwatch. It'll be one of those games of me kind of. It has to be a good game. Like I have to do well. I'm not finna upload me beating ass.
Now you got to. You have to.
Now
that shows your that shows your transparency. People appreciate that.
But at
the same time, you know what I'm saying. I understand you want. You know what I'm saying. You're trying to salvage some pride, but nah, man, you gotta do that. You show some transparency. Show yourself getting your ass kicked. It built the ultimate. Why everybody like Rocky? He gets his ass kicked early in the movie. Then he come back. He may lose to say, at least, but it's not as bad as the first time he got his ass kicked. You know, like why everybody like Creed got his ass kicked. He get his ass kicked, come back, show you what he's about. You know what I'm saying? You got to show that. If you don't show that, and you're just Superman, and nobody likes Superman. I ain't gonna say nobody likes Superman, but you get the concept going with that.
Yeah, no, but my kind of low moments, the points where like let's say I have a real funny rage or I do real bad, like some funny deaths and stuff, that'll definitely be in some montages. But in terms of like single gameplays, I'm not gonna upload a gameplay where I'm getting my ass whooped. I feel like nobody really wants to watch that. But yeah, that's kind of where we've been at. Get that music playing. Malcolm can handle this outro real quick. On God, he's got it.
I haven't done an outro in a while,
bro. I'm starting to get into the flow now, but I was stuttering because we haven't done this in a while. Damn.
Yeah.
Rusty.
Now go ahead, press outro, man. I think I got it.
Let's go. Let's get it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching the May podcast, where we're distributing content to the podcast streets, the urban streets, the suburbs, to white folks, black folks, all different types of walks of life. You know what I'm saying? We just want to contribute content for anybody that's willing to listen. You know what I'm saying? We touch on a myriad of different topics: sports, religion, politics, culture, anything that you could think of. We're two young men that are still discovering life as we know it. You know what I'm saying? And this is our outlet and our way of giving back to other people like ourselves that might have the same situations that they go through. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is very therapeutic for myself and AY, hence the reason why that we'll be making sure to do either weekly or bi-weekly episodes from here on out. But we appreciate you guys for sticking through. For the people that's been watching from the first episode up until now, in between the hiatuses and all that, we really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with more content. AY, what do you have to say?
Hey man, that was great. That was a great outro. I think that's better than anything I could have done. But like you said, we're back. We're here to stay. Hopefully, I swear to God, we take another hiatus. Somebody gotta get their ass whooped. It's probably gonna be me. But we're back. We got more content. All of us are doing our own thing, but now we're kind of coming back together. We appreciate y'all for listening. And whenever you listen to this, whether it's the morning, evening, night, we just hope y'all had a good day, and we appreciate y'all. Let Hillside take us out. Got a couple homies that'll turn you to a pelt quick. I ain't trying to do it though, I love to keep them out the streets. Get a desk job, but it ain't what them boys trying to be. Hate to watch the news with all them bodies lying in the street. And it's a cold world, that's why I never get no white sheets. Call me Ty Lou, these niggas cross